How's everyone doing? This is Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we'd just say it. So, this episode's gonna be about the Nintendo Switch. I believe that a lot of people are just not aware of how successful and how important the Nintendo Switch is. Now, since the 80s, since the beginning of gaming, we've been playing what I call sit-and plays or stand-and plays. Basically, you're either playing on the couch sitting or you were at the arcades playing games standing. Basically, for a long time, we've been gaming where we had to go play the video games either at home or at the arcades. Now, this has been going on for over 40 years or so. Now, with what happened with mobile gaming, you know, people could carry their phones around, play games, but they weren't as sophisticated as the games you would get on console. Now, what Nintendo's done, and I believe they've basically saved the game industry again, like they did way back when they started with the NES. What a lot of YouTubers aren't talking about is how convenient the Nintendo Switch is. Not only how convenient it is, but how much it's a console like your phone where you can carry it around and go wherever you want with the system. Unlike the PS4 and Xbox 3, Xbox One X, whatever you want to call it, all these consoles, you have to go home to play your console, as in you're coming from work, you have to come back home to play the game, to get your game on, versus the Nintendo Switch where the console's always with you. Now, the biggest advantage I'd say about the Nintendo Switch compared to the not only the PS4 and the Xbox One X, but it's I believe that the Nintendo Switch has an advantage over even the next gen consoles because the PS5 most likely will be another sit and play console where you have to go home to play it, and even the new Xbox 2X, it's gonna all be consoles where you have to go home to play it. While the Nintendo Switch, you can carry it around and you could go wherever you want with the console. The console is convenient for you versus the home consoles where you have to go back home and you're basically like a prisoner of your system. Now, what a lot of YouTubers, people on the internet don't understand is that Mortal Kombat 11 is coming out for the Switch. Now, we all know Bethesda, the people who make Skyrim, been supporting the Switch, and they're coming out with Rage 2 for the Switch. They're even coming out with the new Doom for the Switch. What a lot of people don't understand is that with all these current titles coming out for the Nintendo Switch, and as I previously mentioned, Mortal Kombat 11, now, yes, the Switch is underpowered. That's true. But because it's performing so well, I believe it's sold over it's about to sell over 30 million in less than 2 years. With the success of the Switch that it can't be ignored, you have Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch. Then you have big up and coming AAA games like Doom, as I mentioned. All these big title games that are coming out for the Switch when the next consoles, the PS5, Xbox 2X, are coming out. This means that the developers are not only confident in the Switch, but they're basing a lot of their development on, does it run on the Switch first? And what I mean by that is that look at Mortal Kombat. What I mean by that is look at Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is being made for the Switch. That means when they were developing that game, they were saying it has to run on the Switch, as in the majority of the game is that it's just gonna look better on the PS4 and Xbox One X and Xbox and so on. It's just gonna look better. Now, what that means is that a lot of games will be made with the Switch as the primary source of it has to run on the Switch. I'm not saying every game is gonna have to run on the Switch, but those are some big AAA companies. And what a lot of people don't understand is with the success of the Switch is that the Switch is more convenient. Now, right now, Microsoft is working on, cloud gaming, Sony with the, PlayStation Now and so on, Microsoft with the Xbox Pass, whatever. Those are all great and all, but the problem with the Xbox Pass and cloud gaming is that you need a strong internet service connection at all times to play. Now, when you're on the train, you're not going to get a great service. When you go visit some family members up in the mountains or wherever, you won't get some service. Now, the Nintendo Switch is following suit to what the Game Boy did. When the Game Boy came out, it was portable games, but, they weren't, of console quality. They weren't the highest quality possible. So with the Nintendo Switch, you're getting full-fledged games such as Doom, Skyrim on the go. You don't need to worry about an internet connection. You don't need to worry about, having a job to have, you don't need an internet connection to play your games on the Switch. You just put the cartridge in and you play it. And now Nintendo's been advertising how simple it is, how you could play your Switch, pick up your kids, pick them up at school, then play your Switch. Or while you're waiting on the train, play your Switch. Basically, what I believe is that Nintendo's not only have they won on, they're going to defeat the PS4, and I believe that the Nintendo Switch has done damage to the next gen consoles that are coming out, the PS5 and the Xbox 2X, that are coming out, because even though they're gonna have better cloud gaming, the problem with cloud gaming, as I previously mentioned, is that you need a strong internet service to have proper access to your cloud gaming. While on Nintendo, you just put the game on and play. And now, I know a lot of people will be thinking, well, that's all great and all, but certain game companies might not develop for the Switch anymore in the previous, as things go further on. Yes, eventually Nintendo will release a new system, but now's not the time. They're going to need to give this Switch about a good 4 to 5 years because it's so convenient. Even though the Switch is underpowered, its conveniency is worth it. You can take your games on the go versus you got to go home. Think about that. You're taking a train ride for an hour. You got to go home to play your Xbox and PlayStation. Now, the massive level of success the Switch will continue having is that Nintendo doesn't pressure developers. What I mean by that is the last time Sony didn't truly pressure developers was the PS3. Same goes for the Xbox with the 360. Back then you could see games running at 720p, 30 frames, 60 frames, 1080i, 30 frames, 60 frames. But when the PS4 came out and Xbox One came out, they pressured developers to try to hit 1080p at all times, full HD. And a lot of games suffered from that where they're running at 30 frames with drops below 20. A lot of games were suffering quality because the PS4 and the Xbox One were underpowered. The Xbox One X was the original console we were supposed to have. Just like the PS4 Pro was supposed to be the original console. So Nintendo isn't forcing a level, of graphic fidelity, as in you could launch a Nintendo game at 720p or 1080i, 900p. Nintendo just wants you to make a game that runs. Unlike Sony and Microsoft, which force and pressure and demand you try to get 1080p. And another thing you have to understand is with the Nintendo being a portable system, that it can run at a lower frame, lower graphic rate on the portable mode. Let's say, 550p, 6p, 700p, whatever. The average public doesn't really care. As long as they can get their games and the quality and the resolution is high enough. And I believe as Nintendo continues on, they can really succeed. The only problem I see with the Switch is that Nintendo's cheap. What I mean by Nintendo's cheap is that Nintendo should be paying Rockstar right now to create a Nintendo Switch version Grand Theft Auto 5. You have to understand that the Nintendo Switch is basically, power-wise, probably has 40% of the regular PS3 and Xbox One. What Nintendo needs to do is pay Rockstar to make Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Nintendo Switch. Then they need to pay Rockstar to make Red Dead Redemption, the original, part 1 on the Switch. Nintendo has to start paying, because even though people have GTA on their, let's say, console, let's say PS4, Xbox One, and even PC, they can't travel and play the game. They need a strong internet connection, and so on. The Nintendo Switch has a bright future. It's just that Nintendo has to start not just waiting, but has to start paying some developers to make ports. A big port that needs to happen is Grand Theft Auto 5. And, Red Dead Redemption 1. And if possible, I would say Nintendo should even pay for the new Red Dead, because it's portable. With the Nintendo Switch, you're not trapped going home to play your games. You could play on the go. And that's the biggest innovation of this console, is that it's a portable console. And what a lot of people don't understand, and I'll cover this on a future video, is that Nintendo has successfully created what I call the middle route. The middle route is that they're not fully portable, yet they're not fully stationary. What I mean by that is the Nintendo Switch, when Nintendo made the console, they said, let's have a portable system that's strong enough so we don't have to put a lot of heavily expensive hardware on there. Then with the stationary, the tower, you put the console in, have it speed boost and increase the power of the console. So it's basically, they're not going all the way portable, yet they're not all the way, home console. It's right in the middle. And a lot of companies have failed trying to make a super powerful portable console, because they tried to go all the way portable, and as everyone knows, portable hardware costs a lot more because it's not stationary, it's portable. So, I'll leave it at that, but I'm going to say this in closing, that the Nintendo Switch potential for the next 4 to 3 years is insane, because, like I said, Nintendo isn't applying pressure on the graphics department. They don't care if your game runs at 650p, 800p, 900p. They don't care. You know what I mean? And that tells a lot of developers, make the game as best as you can versus trying to make it 1080p, extreme level graphics. All right. Well, thank you for watching this video, and like the video, comment, share. I'd like to hear what you think about it. And in the words of Diddy, subscribe or die.